Where is my? Okay, you can hear me now, but let me cut on my blue again. All right, we'll use this for a while. So apparently no one heard anything I said before. So let me do one thing. Let me stop this stream. No, I can't stop this stream because people are already here. Four people are here. Let me stop this stream. Restart the whole thing and say the things that I said before, so it will be there on the video. So I'm going to disconnect and reconnect really quick so that a new video would start at, where there's some volume. That's great, and we all love it, but that doesn't make the guy a great pass rusher. Yeah, you saw that last rep right there. You want to hug this last bag. You want to be able to. Okay, for some reason it's not picking up my blue, but what I'm going to be doing, and this is why I'm doing a very slow rollout of the Shango live show. I'm going to have a lot of. I'm the sole in-house producer as far as any technical things or whatever. I've got this new toys that I'm trying to make sure everything works, and we're going to talk about the Cowboys every Monday from 7 to 8 and hopefully have a good time. Now right now we're going to get into the combine because it's like wide open, and from me watching just a little bit of the combine, my juices are just flowing for some of these players, man. I mean, geez, I mean there's this the speed and the speed and the proximity to Dallas that some of this speed is at. Might be able to use it. So we got 9 people watching out. Welcome, Rarely Even. Welcome, Dave 10 Eagle. Welcome, Ricky Ricardo 1215. How are you guys doing this wonderful morning? Only thing I'm doing right now is let me go to it right now. I'm listening to it. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I'm watching some of the combine because now we're into the defensive linemen, and this is where I want to make sure that I get all the information that I need, because I really feel that our first round pick, the best value that we can do is through the defensive line. I really do, and I think that's our biggest need right now. Also with Brent being probably completely out the picture. You got Rat maybe or may not be out of the picture. We don't know. They said yeah, but we don't know. And then you got Spencer that's probably out of the picture. So we really need some brute force there at defensive line. So we're going to have to go through every one of these guys that seemingly would fit a 4-3. Not particularly Monte Kiffin's scheme, because even Kiffin knows that he's here it could be a short-term thing here. So we need someone who's going to fit a 4-3 and fit Monte Kiffin's scheme at the same time, just in case we decide to change our defensive coordinator again, like we always seem to do. We can be able to move that player over into such and so scheme or whatnot. So defensive tackle is the number one concern of my thing. And I know a lot of people.
Even here in shorts and
let me say some hey to some more people that's here. What's up, Cal? How you doing?
250-pound athlete.
What's up, Ty Panino? How's it going? Y'all don't feel shy to say hello to me. I'm gonna talk back to you because that's what this show is really about. I'm gonna slowly start bringing in other elements. I'm gonna slowly start bringing in Twitter. I'm gonna slowly start bringing in Facebook comments and people on Facebook that's saying certain things or whatever. So I want you to be more involved in what's going on. I want this more be a discussion, so we can talk about the Cowboys and talk about some NFL things together. You know what I'm saying? So
they're done.
All right, just finish that
Shango said my
round of
name.
drills right there. Again, we
Yeah,
want to
we're
encourage you
gonna
to
Vaccaro.
send us your questions at NFL
Safety, I would jump on right now because we need a safety. We really need a safety. We don't know. We Sensabaugh does not cause turnovers. Sensabaugh's a good player. I'm not gonna sit here and trash him. He's a good player. He's a likable guy. Except I think it's kind of time for an upgrade on that side because we need somebody that can generate some turnovers. On the other safety, we have Barry Church, who the fan base loves Barry Church, and Barry Church still has not proven that he's an NFL quality player on Sundays. No matter what he's done in practice, no matter what he's done in training camp, he still has to prove himself on Sundays, and he hasn't done that yet. I like him. The stuff I saw from training camp, I like him. But I like Dunbar too during training camp. And when I saw Dunbar in live action, in real NFL terms, he didn't look as fast. He didn't look as good. You know what I'm saying? So maybe Dunbar has to work harder to get up to that next level. I don't think the Cowboys are even convinced he can make it up to that level or whatever. But it's like you see people that look the part in training camp, and then when it goes to live action, they might not be so much. So that's why if Vaccaro, but I just don't see him falling down as far as for us to pick him up. And with the apprehension I feel after, I mean, I was elated, like everybody was elated last year when we picked up Mo Claymore. I think it was an excitement thing. It was always exciting to move up the draft to get one of the studs, the supposedly studs in the draft or whatever. But when the residual effect of that came, we kind of saw that.
You'll see some guys with bad technique who actually wind up to generate power, but that's not where you want it, because again, the first man to win the hand game is typically going to win that.
We saw that
with the line game, in the trenches with the offensive lineman, and so that's what you want to see, especially guys with long arms like our guy here, 36-inch arms. You want to see him. Yeah. I mean, he's got 36. Those are long arms. You want to use that to your advantage. When you see Brian use that, but I'd like to see a little bit more power. So some of these guys don't have enough power.
Yeah, Kyle's talking about
the drill. But this is a power game, not a speed drill.
Akbar, stay here. I'm going to ask DJ a question.
There we go. Hey, I've been to Greece, Talapino.
This drill or more of a pass rushing DN type?
That's my wife's favorite vacation. But I've been to Greece.
Listen and hear them punch that.
That's awesome.
We call it in scouting.
But yeah, with safety,
you don't want to have a wind up like Akbar.
it's just time for us to upgrade and get somebody like that. But I don't think he's going to fall down to us. I don't think we should. I know everybody wants to go offensive line. I don't think that offensive line is. I don't think we should pick offensive line that early in the draft unless it's an offensive tackle, unless it's a left tackle. If it's a left tackle that is a stud left tackle that's there at our pick, we have to scoop him up. There's no question about it. But if there's no stud left tackles left, then I think you have to go toward the defensive line more so often, because you can get guards and centers on down the line. You know what I'm saying? Left tackles, you pretty much can't. Pretty much you have to get them early. And if we're going to keep Tyron on the left or right, or bring another guy in for free, or we're going to pay free, I'll get into all that kind of stuff in a few minutes, because that's ridiculous. But we have to. We have to make sure somehow that we get those picks on offensive line, because in all the holes that we have on our team, there's 4 questionable starting positions on offensive line. Free and on down the line. So we have to get those picks, but early, I think it has to be defensive line, because that's probably our number one need. Now we do have needs at safety. We do, and if Carl Caldwell there. We have to get him. We do have needs at middle linebacker, not middle linebacker, at linebacker. There's no strong side linebacker. A lot of people don't realize, and I won't want to acknowledge our need for a linebacker, but last year we played linebacker with a lot of guys that were not in the league. We called them from their home, got them off their couches, and let them play linebacker. You know what I'm saying? And we can't do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? We have to get some stud guy, another stud guy to go over there with Bruce and Sean Lee, and then more so, we need to get somebody that's going to be able to fill in for them when they get hurt, because it's more so often that they'll probably be hurt throughout the season, one or two of them, since they've been hurt, throughout their career. So it's probably a major possibility that at least one of those guys are going to be down for, a large percentage of the year. And we need another stud guy that's going to be there, that's going to hold the fort. Because our linebackers, they were getting kicked. With the spread option in Washington and things that's going on, you don't know what's going to happen in Philadelphia with their wide open offense. We're going to need some dynamic playmakers back to go with Bruce and Carter, just in case they're not here, they disappear. So we have needs everywhere. We have needs absolutely everywhere. So I don't know how the Cowboys plan on attacking this through free agency or whatever, but they have to attack a lot of positions. Let me go back to the chat and see what's going on. Cal Forchetti asked me, Shango, did you break a window when you read Jerry's quote about getting by with lesser talent on an offensive line? Yeah. Ricky Ricardo's talking about running back. Yeah, this is what interests me about what's going on with Jerry. He said that about the offensive line. He wants to sign Romo. He said Romo is going to be a Cowboy until he retires. No shocker here, but he might. Miles Austin might need to be cut. I don't want him to be cut for salary purposes, but if they do, if they got themselves in a position where they might have to cut Miles Austin, which would really hurt the team. So you got Romo, you're paying him a lot of money. You're in a cap situation where you might have to take away one of his number one targets. You don't have anybody blocking for him on the line hardly. So how are you helping Tony Romo? You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows I'm not a Romo apologist. I don't make any kind of excuses for Romo. I think that he needs to make heady decisions at certain times. But the stuff that has happened with this organization, with the offensive line, with the deterioration of things on that offense, it is obvious that the entire success of the Dallas Cowboys has been put on Tony Romo's shoulders. So it's not good. The Romo-friendly offense is not Romo-friendly at all, and which was this whole plan when Jason Garrett first got the job. It was to be have a Romo-friendly offense, and it's not. It's not. It's so unfriendly to Romo whatsoever. And this is coming from one of Romo's biggest critics right here. You know what I'm saying? So with Jerry with the offensive line and what Jerry's going on, I don't know what is going on at this point with Jerry and Jerry's mind. We're in the mind of I don't want to call him any names, but we're in the mind of something loony right now, and I don't know how we're going to get out of it. The only thing I can do at this point is just like you guys do, just look and get excited like we do every year and just hope for the best. But I see a lot of stuff that Jerry does wrong, and I see a lot of holes in our football teams that I don't see in other top-notch football teams, and it really worries me right now. It really worries me. All right, let me touch on Ricky Ricardo's question too about running back. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna get into running back. I'm gonna get in running back in just a minute because that kid from Arkansas ran so fast. There was a couple more kids that ran really fast that could catch the ball and take off. And I think a Percy Harvin type for this offense would be really, really, really perfect. I mean, DeMarco Murray goes up the middle. He'll go up the middle and get yards here and there. But we need somebody that will do what Felix was supposed to do. Should do what we thought Felix was going to do. Take a little screen pass and you're gone. So there's one guy in Texas that we'll get to in just a minute also that could fill those voids, but he's a wide receiver, but one of those slash wide receiver running back type players that could take a ball, take a short pass from Romo and take it to the house. Now that would be Romo friendly. That would be really Romo friendly if something like that would happen. Rarely even says, how excited am I to get Sean Lee back? I'm extremely excited. I'm wondering if they're going to move him, because I saw I think it was on the Cowboys Hunter somewhere. I saw where they were saying that he's going to get first crack at middle linebacker, but they're also going to give Bruce Carter a crack at middle linebacker. And if you think about it, putting Sean Lee closer to the line, and his ability to shoot gaps and, things that he was doing as a 3-4 middle linebacker. If he can do those at at the Sam linebacker, attack those gaps, and help fill in with the run, and then on top of that, can use his coverage skills. He would be a strong Sam linebacker. Me in my Madden league, I have Sean Lee playing Sam. I have that, and I have a fast linebacker similar to Bruce Carter playing middle linebacker, because then Bruce Carter can be the side-to-side warrior. He can run down anything. You know what I'm saying? He can be more of a weapon there in the middle at middle linebacker, because he has better speed than safeties, almost corner type speed at the linebacker position. So I'm interested to see what's going on, but I'm happy to see Bruce. I'm happy to see Bruce and Lee back, because as much as I love Lee, and he's my number one favorite Cowboy right behind Witten, but as much as I love him, whatever, I was so impressed with Bruce Carter last year. I think the entire Cowboy organization was so impressed, because we hear so much about these players, when they come in. Oh, he could be one of the great ones. Oh, he should have been a top 10 pick. Oh, we hear that every year in the draft, and we heard it about Bruce Carter. And when we actually saw him play, he would have been a first. If he was healthy, this guy would have been a first round pick. Completely. So, I'm excited to get Sean Lee back and Bruce Carter. Let me go back. Oh, Cal Forchetti says the Cowboys are not tied to Barry Church. He's got a very cat-friendly contract, and that's good. I mean, we're gonna need Barry Church, and we've got to pray that Barry Church can come back and play. First of all, we got to make sure that he's healthy enough to play. I mean, that's got to happen initially, and then once he's healthy enough to play, we have to hope and really pray that he can compete at an elite level or semi-elite level at safety. We don't need another average guy, especially with this Tampa 2 type of defense. We need some real playmakers out there at safety. So we need him. We wish the best for him, but I just don't think we can depend on him. I just don't think that. All right. Rarely even said they're a Bucs fan, and so they know Monte Kiffin pretty well. I think he's a good fit for the defense. Yeah. Let's talk about Monte Kiffin for a minute. I had a whole schedule thing. I've got a schedule thing right now, but I like this much better. I mean, this is kind of the working out process. How this show flows the best. If it flows the best for me talking to people, then it flows the best with me talking to people. But the Monte Kiffin thing, I'm just not sure that the game has not moved away from where it was back in Tampa Bay when he was coaching. I'm not sure of it. It's like the NFL seems to me like it's moving more toward the college game. the spread offenses and things of that sort. And then we have we have one that is working it brilliantly in Washington. That they're running that spread thing. They've got a killer running back. They've got monsters in Washington, and then they're going to be running a fast break type offense in Philadelphia that killed Monte Kiffin's defense in Oregon when Oregon played USC. So I'm waiting to see it. I'm waiting to see it happen. There was Rob Ryan's defense. I had problems with it. Yeah, I did have problems with Rob's defense, but he made stuff happen with nothing. And somehow we've got to do that again with Kiffin's defense, because there will be some weaker areas on this football team. So we'll have to make sure that scheme can cover up those things, as well as making making some turnovers and things of that sort that make us a little bit better. But we got a lot of work to do on that part of the field, and I'm very interested to see how it pans out, because I just don't see. Usually you see the successful defenses, you usually see them start taking over teams, and the schemes, you see them start taking over teams in the NFL, and the Kiffin scheme seems to be going. I mean, like Indianapolis left it. I mean, their teams are leaving that type scheme to go to 3-4s and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens with Monte Kiffin. I'm not juiced up on it like, oh yeah, this is gonna work. You know what I'm saying? I'm at the same place I was when we got Rob Ryan. I was like, well, Wade did the best he could with what he had, I think. And it looked like Wade did do the best he could with what he had. And with Rob Ryan, not a fan of Rob Ryan, not even this much, but he did the best with what he had, and I think that's going to be the same thing that I'm going to say about Monte Kiffin. I have a few issues with him, but he's probably going to get the best out of those guys that he can, and they're going to compete. But will they be able to compete good enough for a Super Bowl? We don't know. We don't know.
Let's look to see who. Okay, this is Deion Jordan. Let's see if he can play outside linebacker. You tell me it's raw, no pads on, not hitting. Look at his stance.
All right, refresh. Sharif Floyd. What's up, $2 Bob? How's it going, man? I don't think Sharif Floyd is gonna fall that far, but this is a pretty deep draft on defensive tackle, so we need to keep our nose to the screen in this next couple of look at that. Jeez, look at this monster. Jeez, football players are getting bigger and stronger and bigger and stronger as we speak. Yeah, look at those monsters. That's another monster right there. Yeah. We have to look at all these guys and see which one's going to be able to step in and give us some help. But God, I can't wait. I'm a defensive guy, and for the last few drafts, I've been wanting to go defensive, in the trenches. So now I'm really excited about going through all these guys and seeing trying to find the beast out of the group.
Explode out of your stance. You don't want to give it away.
Dave 10 Eagle asked me, do I want Spencer to come back? Let's just say Spencer had an absolute phenomenal year last year. Was it contract related? Who knows, or whatever. But he had a phenomenal year, and there's no sane person would not want Spencer on their football team right now, and that's the truth. However, with what I perceive, because you really don't know what the cap situation is, but what I perceive as as cap problems, I don't think that I would sign Spencer. So, do I want him to sign? Would I want a Spencer on my football team? Oh yes, by any means. Do I want to sign him? I don't think I want to do that to our salary cap. I think I want to let him go, let him make his money somewhere else or whatever, and then find a new Spencer in this draft where we don't have to pay him that much for the first 4 years. He will, as long as he's on that rookie contract, he just gets what he's supposed to get. But and that would open our wallets up to be able to pay Romo or pay for another wide receiver if Miles has to leave, or it just opens our wallets up to be able to do other stuff. So I would want a Spencer type on our football team, yes, but with the money that he's gonna get, he deserves actually. I don't think it'll work with the Cowboys.
Inevitably, you're going to see at least 3 or 4 guys screw this drill up because it's very complicated.
It's almost like a Tampa 2 drop where you got to run 35 yards.
I rarely even ask if I got to select the player the Cowboys selected in the draft, who would it be and why. I think
all right, as we saw Ziggy Ansah finish that drill, we're going to go
if anybody that may, and there's a lot of people that I want that probably won't fall, is the safety from Texas. I just think Kenny should come to Dallas. I think that's the main ingredient of a 4-3 Tampa 2 defense, and I think that would set the stones for our defense in the future with Carr and Clybourne and a top-notch safety back there with him too, and hopefully Church can be what we want him to be. So he's the only player on the board that I would take before any of those defensive linemen. If he's not on the board, just take the best quality. I think we need a pass rusher first more than we need a defensive tackle. It depends on Spencer. If Spencer stays, then we need a defensive tackle. If Spencer leaves, we need a defensive end. We really do, because there will be no one on the other side of Ware, and more than Ware will not be able to take a lot of snaps this year. So when he's not on the field, we'll have to have somebody that can play the position right there also. So it's going to have to be defensive line, and the only person that I would want is Kenny Vaccaro.
That has prepared you for this moment. There's a lot of beeping sounds. There's a lot of cameras on you. A lot of coaches, GMs, people that you've been familiar with and following. Probably since you were a kid. What is this moment done?
Man, hold on.
One thing that I was well prepared.
Oh, Cal Forchetti says, and I'm gonna work to get these comments on the screen so you can see the comments when people are making them. But somehow it wasn't working this morning. It was just too small for you to see, so I didn't even put it up there, whatever. But he asked about, Cal, do you know I'm from South Carolina and half my family went to Clemson, so I'm a big Clemson fan. So when you say Andre Ellington, I'm like, whoa, Andre Ellington. Oh, Andre Ellington is bad. I mean, Andre Ellington is I don't know about being a every down starter or whatever in the NFL, but if anybody followed my videos back a few years ago, you remember the man love I had for C.J. Spiller, and you would understand that if you were from South Carolina, because C.J. Spiller had just the crowds just hailing his name just like crazy. I mean, he was one of the biggest figures in Clemson that I've ever seen, and a great guy on top of that. So he's got the personality. So I was like, man, I love some C.J. Spiller. But Andre Ellington is not quite C.J. Spiller, but what he has that C.J. Spiller didn't have is pop. When you hit him, when you tackle him, he let you know it. You know what I'm saying? And with a guy that's speedy, that can go side to side, and then give you a little pop when it's time to have some contact. I like those running backs. So I'm really hyped on the possibility of getting Andre Ellington for the Cowboys, as I would probably any Clemson player, which there are a lot. There are always a lot in the draft. Clemson works it. All right.
That's a really good point. Look, Atlanta Falcons, they may have to go into free agency.
Chris Johnson's 40 time almost failed yesterday. I know, and that's what I wanted to do, because I wanted to. Let me go to that. I wanted to show the list of the 40 times, because again, that's all we really care about. And at the combine, we care about the 40 times, and then what people think about certain players, but we don't understand. We don't understand what to look for when we see the shuttle drill and stuff like that. So here we go. Here we go. Let me get it on the screen. There we go. So there we go with Marquise Goodwin. Now, it says 4.25. I mean 4.27, but I think this might be the official. But on the day, Marquise was 4.25, and Tavon Austin was a 4.25. So these two right here are clearly like the fastest, or two of the fastest guys in the draft. Now, Goodwin is from Texas, and I was looking at his YouTube. Actually, you know what? Let's do that right quick because you can do it. I was looking at his stuff at YouTube. Let's see, Marquise Goodwin highlights. Perfect stuff. And he is kind of like something that could be used in this offense. And I get so sick of guys in Texas that's leaving the Cowboys. I get so sick of it. You know, you got Earl. You got a ton of people from RG3, of course. Jesus, certain people from Texas that don't need to leave out the state. And I guess this guy, he could be a huge weapon for Tony Romo. A huge weapon for Tony Romo that can help out our run game with that short little pass. If he takes a short little pass, he can be, you know, gone, because there's certain things. I want a couple of these plays that you see. There's certain things that you just can't. Of course, you hear it all the time. You can't teach, and that's speed. But I mean, here's one. It's just like boom. No, that's not it. But yeah, here we go. And right here, look, boom. He's got movement, and there's another one. Took it off too long. He's got decent hands. They say he is surprised by the ball getting there. Look at here's one where you saw his burst just get away from the people. But they said he gets surprised when he sees the ball, and that's not a good thing with Tony Romo, because Romo's going to put that ball on you, so he's going to have to get over that. But I just think him being in this offense would be a absolute huge weapon, and he could be kind of like that Percy Harvin type, you know, slidey guy that can be in the backfield, that can run reverses, that can run, you know, can do a lot of stuff for the Cowboys. But it just depends on what type of pick that it would take to get him. But yeah, he is blazing fast. I mean, Chris, who's like sick fast, and he's right up there close to it. And then, you know, the unofficial time was like a smidgen under that, whatever. So I'm thinking, since Chris Johnson's a 99 in Madden, I think Marquise Goodwin's going to be like a 98, like at least a 98 in Madden. So I'm trying to get the. There we go. All right, next, Tavon Austin. Let me do him a sec, because I looked at his stuff too. This is really a Percy Harvin. They said his closest person is like he's resembled Mike Wallace, but I see more Percy in him than Mike Wallace. But I have to go through these guys, because I love speed. I mean, the fast players in the league, I always watch the teams they play for and see what kind of plays they can make, and I would love for somebody like this to be on my team. You see that, the little short dump, and look at him taking it off. some return kick, but Wayne Harris has moved up into a role where he's been more, of a wide receiver and less of a kick return. Then you'll have someone that can get the job done as well as Wayne Harris is one of my favorites.
An electrifying return for West Virginia.
I would not be upset if we got PP'd like this. I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't, because that's one of my favorite things in the world. A good one will go when we'll be drafted by the Raiders. I got 10 more minutes. I might go a little bit longer, but I got 10 more minutes. If anybody has any more questions, just go ahead and hit me. Go ahead and go through. But I want to talk about a few things. Some specific. Oh, let me go through this one. Arterio Michaela, 4.34, and Ryan Swoop with 4.34, and now Davis. You keep an eye on him. This guy, because he's an Arkansas guy, 4.37, has injury problems, but he's a thumper, and he could provide a different element for the Cowboys. So just when you get a chance, go through the NFL.com and just go through all these players, because I'm gonna do it. Hey, there goes Shoelace with 4.43. Look through these fast guys and see which ones you like, because I always like those guys. But let's talk more about the Cowboys in this last 10 minutes. Don't want to get you. First thing we want to talk about is not cap cuts. We want to talk about Romo's contract. I kind of touched on this with my last video, that Romo's going to be a Cowboy, and we kind of all knew that. Jerry came out this week saying Romo will retire a Cowboy, so we need to come to that realization. If you're still mad, I'm not mad from the Washington game. I'm not mad. I mean, we had a chance there at the end of the game, but we got beat by Washington. So I'm not upset at him because that's what he's done his entire career. For me to expect something different is crazy. Can we win with him? Yeah, but it's stuff like that possible to happen when you have Romo as quarterback. Yeah. So I'm not mad at Romo whatsoever. But I've always wanted to move on with this football team. I've always wanted to start a youth movement, and the last few years, I've been pushing to try to move Romo, to try to get a whole bunch of picks, and Ware at the same time, both of them, to try to get influx of talent in. And if you look at our roster now, and I hadn't went up did the numbers, and I will do the numbers soon for you one of these days soon. But we don't have that much scouted talent. Can I use that? Can I say it like that? We don't have much talent that has been combed through by this process of the draft, and in ranking you of where you deserve. We have a lot of guys who didn't get drafted on our football team, and we've lost a lot of. I think this year we're probably going to lose 2 of our first round picks. So those type talents are going to lose with Jenkins and Felix. Those type talents are not going to be on our football team anymore. So we needed an influx of talent in, and right now we've bypassed that window for this to happen. So we basically attached ourselves to Romo. So if we're gonna do that, then we've got to get him some help. I can't even believe I'm saying it. The person who rips Romo whenever he needs to get. I'm saying it. He needs more help. He needs one of these fast guys. He needs a dependable receiver. If Miles isn't going to be dependable, he needs to have someone like that that's going to be dependable on the other side of Dez. I mean, and he needs to be blocked for at least a little bit. I know that I'm not a hater of how our offensive line performed as much as other people. If you calm down and look at the offensive line stats, now you know how I am with stats. Stats don't mean everything, whatever. But it gives you a kind of a better feel that they weren't as bad as some other possible teams in the league. We didn't have the worst offensive line in the league. I don't think, not at all. But the way we're set up and the type quarterback we have a type of quarterback. He can't run. I mean, so I know people were suggesting that we run that spread offense with Romo, but Romo can't run. He can't. He can elude pressure. And we have a quarterback that needs a little bit of blocking so he can elude pressure. And once he eludes the pressure, he can find someone out there to get the ball to. Now, that's the problem that we're having. We're having problems with him, being able to find someone down the field because he doesn't have time enough to even elude the pressure to get the ball out of his hands. But we've seen it many times when he gets to elude the pressure and gets to get a chance to square his feet and throw the ball, something good usually happens. So we're not giving him that opportunity. We're not building our team to help Romo in the best way, and that's kind of disturbing, especially when we have tied our future with Romo like we have. So the Romo contract, it's going to be big. I hear that the Romo's camp is waiting to see what Flacco signs. I don't know why. Flacco just won the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? That I mean, come on. That is the perfect thing you can do on a contract year when be the quarterback of a Super Bowl winning football team. And then you say, hey, look, open your wallets and just give me the money. Just keep on putting it on the table until I move my hand down. You know what I'm saying? And that's what position Flacco is in. Romo is not in that position. He threw an interception at the end of a game to get us up in the playoffs, and we failed to get in the playoffs again for the third year in a row. And he against a team that was mortally wounded that beat us. He's just not in the same predicament that Flacco is. He just has a golden reputation within, and I won't even say the Cowboy fan base anymore. I would just say he has a golden reputation within the Cowboys organization. They love him to death. But I see his reputation getting tarnished a lot within the Cowboy fan base. I mean, a lot of people are just they're done with him, and I can't be mad at people that are, and I can understand the disappointment when you hear Jerry Jones saying he's going to be a Cowboy until he retire, and you're wanting something as a quarterback. I can feel you. I can feel you. All right, next. Let me look and see if anyone said anything to that, and I want to make sure before I move on to the next subject. This thing refresh is slow, I think. It's still on let me just refresh it. See what happens. There we go. Good luck finding another franchise quarterback. Yeah. From Robbie 818. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, we've backed ourselves into a corner where there's no quarterbacks really I like in the draft. I mean, Geno is good, but if we jump up all the way to get Geno where he might get picked, then Cowboys fans are going to expect him to be RG3, and he's not. You know what I'm saying? And the other quarterbacks in this draft, which I'll go through intensely later, I don't see anyone that just pops out of the page and says, "Oh, like that guy." That guy really, I think he has potential where he can sit behind Romo for a couple years and be our guy. Right now, I think if we sign Romo for like 5 years, we can, not worry about the quarterback situation this year and wait for the quarterbacks to come out next year. And because we still got Cal Orton under contract, we're just going to cut Orton. You know what I'm saying? Because if we bring Ryan Tannehill, Jake Locker type first, second round draft pick into Dallas, which the type that's what I think would have to happen for someone that would have the possibility to be a franchise quarterback. I think that you have to be picked there. I mean, it can look at Tom Brady, probably the greatest later, but I just think it gives us a better opportunity if we can get somebody that is projected to go early in the draft like that. But I don't see anybody this year, and hopefully there's a guy in Texas next year that could do it, but still he'll be ready to play, and you'll have Romo under contract. So you'll get someone that you want to put behind Romo, and you can let Cal Orton go because his I think his contract was just 2 years, and he can just go somewhere else. But we can have somebody behind Romo that would get adequate snaps, that would be able to play significant time in preseason, and not have to give those snaps to Cal Orton just in case we need Cal Orton to start during game. So it's just I can just see us signing Romo and just not even dealing with the quarterback situation this year. I mean, I can see the smarts in that decision simply because the hole we have at tackle, the hole we have at guard, the hole we have at center, the hole we have at receiver, the hole we have at running back, the hole we have at defensive end, the hole we have at defensive tackle, the hole we have at linebacker, and the hole we have at safety. The 2000, yeah, exactly. Mr. Mount Olympus, the next year's draft is going to have a lot of quarterbacks, and I think it's better to and also we can maybe try to maneuver some type of trading or something to try to get some picks next year. But since we know this is going to happen, this is me talking now. This is how I would GM. This is what I would if I see that possibility next year. And I know what we have now, and I don't see any players in the draft right now that's going to we get that guy and that guy and that guy, we're going to the Super Bowl. I don't see it. I think if we're going to go to the Super Bowl, it's going to be, from what we're doing inside the organization and us up in our game there. I don't see 2 or 3 people that can elevate our talent to now we're definitely going. So I would see what I can do to maybe load up on some picks next year, maybe get another first, second, or third, or somewhere around there where we can get an extra pick where we can get that quarterback, and still have our draft plan going or whatever. But it's time to not be giving away extra picks. It's time to go the other direction and try to obtain some more picks. Maybe if we move down 18 to 26, you know what I'm saying, and get another second round pick or third round pick next year, or something, just something to where we could still get a quality player this year, one of the quality players that are coming out. We have so many holes. It's not like, we have to stay at this place because we need to get this guy. It's not like that this year. It's not like that. We can sit back we can go back to 30 or 29 or 28 or whatever and just wait. And a lot of times a good talented person will fall and we pretty much need everything, but a good talented person would fall and we can just scoop them up. I think New England does that all the time. They just sit back at the bottom of the draft and put out their hands and wait for stuff to fall. It's a defensive end tackle fall. Oh wow, we can use that. Oh, look at that defensive end. It fell all the way down here. Give it here. You know what I'm saying? So that's a smart way to do it. That's the way I would do it, but who knows what Jerry's going to do. We might have the first overall pick next year. 2 new comments. Talpino, where did I go in Greece? I went to the islands. I went out to the Eos. I can't think of the island's name, but all through the little through the islands that when we were there, the Mediterranean, clear, beautiful. You live in a gorgeous spot. It was 2 years ago, I think, and me and wifey have videos on my Shango 44 YouTube channel also. Some great videos of Greece. Awesome. You live in an awesome place. Now the cap cuts we're going on. All right. Now we already know that Spencer is probably going to be a cap cut, and I've already touched on that, and how I think that the reason why I think that Spencer probably should be a cap cut, even though we would enjoy to have that type talent on our football team, especially at defensive end when we need a defensive end. It's just the matter of the money that he's gonna deserve. I ain't gonna say anything about it. The money that he's gonna deserve, after the season that he had. So I mean, I have not been a big fan of Spencer, throughout his Cowboy career or whatever. But last year, you can't say nothing about the way he played. Not at all. So Spencer being a cap casualty, we also have a possible cap casualty. We also have Jay Ratliff. I don't know what now these guys. Now I'm just saying their names in assumption that it would help the cap, but sometimes like cutting Ratliff might only help just a little bit. So if a cutting guy only helps just a little bit, then it's best just to keep him on the team. So I don't know how these monetary situations work. I looked on NFL Network, the NFL.com. NFL.com has all the salary cap. Let me show you. Actually, they had the salary caps listed up there. Let me see if it's still there. Yeah, view salary cap situations for all 32 teams. All right. So the Jets are at 32. And they say they're 23.1 million over the cap, which the Jets and the Cowboys get clowned on constantly. And then second to the Jets are the Dallas Cowboys. They have a big Romo's picture right there, and it says the Cowboys are 21.1 million over the cap. Now we don't know how true that is, but if it's on the NFL Network, on NFL.com, it's kind of in the ballpark. So we need to do whatever we can do to get under that. I know when we redo Romo's contract, it's going to cut into that tremendously. So we're just going to have to watch that situation. Okay, and we talked about Spencer being cut. Now we got to go with Ratliff. Rat had the DUI situation, and I'm not gonna get all into that because that's a legal thing that has to do with the Cowboys. That's gonna play out the way it's gonna play out. But Ratliff is getting older. Ratliff has not been a consistent player for a while. Again, I love Ratliff. This is not in any way or shape personal. This is the business of the game. He has, if you look at his numbers, he hadn't been the guy that he has been in the past. He just hasn't. So it's time to see if he's going to be able to play up to what we're going to pay him. If it's a nice cut that we can possibly cut him and see what we can find in free agency. A young guy that has possibility. To be another stud like Ratliff. You know what I'm saying? So we need to visit that with Ratliff, and this is outside the DUI stuff. They have to deal with that as far as the character thing and the heels of the Josh Brent issue. But as far as outside of that, they have to look at age, production, money, and development of a younger player at that position. On the other side of the football, Mike Jenkins, well, he's not going to be signed. On the other side of the ball, a major one is Miles Austin. Again, I kind of touched on that earlier. Miles, I think all of us, you have it. I know I have the image of Miles in that Washington game, jumping up on the sidelines, saying, I got to get back in there. But I just don't know. I don't know if he's going to be healthy enough. And this is why. This is why I don't know. Because I like Tony Romo, who flashes absolute brilliance, we kind of know from year after year after year after year, we kind of know what he is and who he is. The same with Miles Austin. You know, I've been in training camp for a long time. I've been following Cowboys closely for a long time, and mainly since Miles Austin was a rookie, and you see flashes of absolute brilliance, and that's how the early days. That's how he clung on to the teams, because there was the Danny Amendola year, it was either him or Danny. So there was a couple of years there where he was just holding on to that roster, you know, and didn't get cut right at the end, because you saw such brilliance and such athletic ability in Miles Austin, you know, in flashes or whatever. So now he would have injuries also in those training camps that would cause, you know, lapses in that. So you don't know if he could do that on a consistent basis. And then he finally played, and you saw he could do that on a consistent basis. However, he still gets hurt. So you have to, again, think about it. You know what I'm saying? Not the production. You can't look at his numbers, because if you just lay Miles' numbers out, you know, they look great as can be, and say, oh, we don't need a second receiver. Look, he gets this many yards or whatever. But it's making sure he's healthy in crucial times and can be a solid, consistent target for Tony Romo. That's what we need for Miles. And since he hasn't done that in his career, you know, and I'm not talking about the player or whatever, I'm just talking about injury-wise. He hasn't done that. So it's a thing you have to think about. I mean, again, the player that Miles Austin is, you want him on the field. You want him. You want him playing for you. But if he can't be on the field, and if you're paying him to be on the sidelines and in the tub, then it don't make much sense. And then speaking of don't make much sense, Doug Free. Brings us to free agency. Again, let me show you something. And I'm going to come back. Right there. 21.0 over the cap. And now we're going to talk about free agency. So I don't know what we're going to be able to do in that field. I think I hate free agency. I think everybody is grossly overpaid in free agency. It never works to make your team that much better or whatever. So I'm not a big fan of it. We spent needless money last year with some signings. I'm not going to point out any names or whatever, but we made some really expensive signings last year that they made more money than they would probably really in real time worth. And we're stuck with those contracts, and we still have to stick with them at certain positions. So I don't see us doing that much in free agency unless we re-sign Romo, get that cap number under something, so where we can have some flexibility to do something. But in my opinion, I think if we are going to get something in free agency, we're probably going to end up losing something. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a give and take situation. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, guys. I will continue to work out the kinks in this show. What? That was so funny that I did that right when I said kinks. Let me bring it back. I meant to do this. I'll be working out the kinks in the show. She'll flash my new logo again. I love it. I will be working out the kinks in my new show, and I will be here every Monday at 7 a.m. East Pacific time, which is 9 a.m. Texas time, and we will talk Cowboys. But I don't. I may come back on here tomorrow just to talk about the defensive tackles, because I'm going to jump in the computer right now and start looking through every single one of those guys, because Kenny Vaccaro is not going to fall. I doubt it. So we need to make sure we get here and find a defensive tackle. Excuse me if I mispronounce any of their names. I do that constantly. That's what I do. All right, guys, it has been an hour. I really liked it. We're gonna slowly get more people involved. Slowly start tweeting this thing out and Facebooking this thing out and get more people in and get more graphics in here and do all those stuff or whatever. Get this mic working right. I can't seem to get it to work again. It was working earlier, but when it was time for showtime, it went out. So getting all those kinks out the show, and then we're going to be talking football, talking Cowboys all summer long, working up to the draft, then working up to training camp, and then we'll be back doing this again, doing this in the fall. So this is John Shango signing out. There goes my website, tdcs.tv, and at John Shango. And thank you, and we'll see you later.